What if everything you've been taught about Earth, life, and the afterlife is a lie? Picture this: what if the world we live in, the reality we experience every day, is actually a realm of hidden suffering? What if this life, this existence, is a prison concealed beneath layers of deception, designed to keep us ignorant of a dark truth? Ancient forbidden texts, secret doctrines, even veiled hints within the Bible itself reveal a chilling notion: Earth is not the paradise it pretends to be. Instead, it's a carefully disguised realm of punishment, a place created to contain and trap souls in a cycle of torment. And this isn't just a conspiracy theory, it's an idea so dangerous that mainstream religious doctrines have worked tirelessly to suppress it, silencing those who dared to question, branding these ancient teachings as heretical. But for those willing to look closer, the truth is right there, hidden in plain sight. Take, for example, the ancient Book of Enoch, a text banned from the Bible itself. This book doesn't describe Earth as a peaceful abode, but rather as a realm of exile, a place of punishment. According to Enoch, Earth was the very location where rebellious beings, fallen angels, known as the Watchers, were cast down from heaven for their transgressions. These Watchers took human wives, imparted forbidden knowledge to humanity, and in doing so brought ruin upon the earth. Their punishment? To be bound to this realm, forced to remain here, just as we are. This isn't the good creation many of us think of when we hear the story of Genesis. Instead, it's a dark and twisted world, filled with suffering, a place designed for those who have fallen from grace. And if they were trapped here for their rebellion, what does that make us? Yes, we're here too, living in this same cursed existence, sharing a world where suffering, toil, and struggle define every aspect of life. Ever hear the phrase fallen world? We throw it around so often, but what does it really mean? Fallen from where? And why are we here? In yet another set of ancient banned texts, the Gnostic writings, this concept becomes even darker. According to the Gnostics, our world was not created by a loving, almighty God, but by a rogue, flawed deity known as the Demiurge. This Demiurge is a controlling, imperfect being, not the benevolent creator we're taught to worship. He crafted our physical world not as a paradise, but as a trap, a prison designed to keep souls ensnared in endless cycles of pain, ignorance, and suffering, far from the true divine source. In this view, Earth is not merely an unfortunate place for us to exist, but a deliberate design, a cosmic snare, a hidden hell where souls are blinded to their true origins. And it only gets darker from here. If Earth is a prison, then what are we? Are we prisoners, bound souls condemned to suffer without understanding why? Take a hard look around. Every moment of joy is fleeting, every peaceful moment is disturbed, and every life ends in decay and death. No one escapes unscarred. In this so-called paradise, suffering is woven into the very fabric of life. Hunger, disease, disaster, they aren't just accidents or imperfections, they seem to be part of the system itself. And yet, we're told to endure, to hold on to a hope of salvation, to believe that all our pain has a divine purpose. But could that belief itself be part of the trap? Is it possible that this very narrative of redemption is meant to keep us compliant, obedient, while our souls are siphoned of their essence, lifetime after lifetime? Ancient, hidden doctrines suggest that we're part of a rigged game, a design intended to keep us from discovering our true spiritual origin and potential. We're so caught up in surviving, in battling the daily struggles of life, that we rarely stop to ask why suffering is such a universal condition. Why does paradise seem forever out of reach, no matter how hard we try? According to these forbidden teachings, The system is crafted to ensure that we remain blind to our origins, grappling merely to survive, all the while believing we must earn our way into heaven. The irony? We might already be in hell, just one so well disguised that we don't recognize it as such. So, who benefits from this arrangement? In these ancient and hidden narratives, it's not a God of love, but a God of control, a figure who feeds off the ignorance, pain, and suffering of those ensnared here. And the most unsettling part, mainstream doctrines have gone to great lengths to keep this truth hidden. By branding these ideas as heresy, by banning and erasing texts that dared to reveal it, the early church, the very institution that claimed to free us from sin, may have instead silenced the one truth that could actually liberate our souls. So here's a twist on a story we all think we know: Adam and Eve, paradise lost, the beginning of mankind's exile. We're told they were expelled from Eden and sent down to earth, but ancient apocryphal texts offer a much darker version. According to some of these banned books, that expulsion wasn't just some mythic consequence. It was a brutal sentence, a one-way ticket into a world filled with sorrow, pain, and mortality, a prison realm where humanity would forever suffer for the so-called original sin. Let's be real. Traditional narratives make this sound like Earth is just another stop, a temporary state of separation until humans find redemption. But in some of these suppressed texts, Eden was the only glimpse of paradise we were ever supposed to see. Once humanity was banished, there was no return, no easy path back. They weren't just sent out, they were condemned to a world designed to reflect their punishment, a world already tainted, broken, and corrupt. Some of these ancient texts go as far as to imply that Earth isn't simply a neutral landscape where we live out our lives, but a cursed place where suffering is a guarantee. We're talking about a realm built on hardship, where every joy is matched by equal, if not greater, sorrow. Adam and Eve weren't merely banished. They were sent to a world with a built-in system of pain, labor, and death, a place where humanity would be constantly reminded of their fall every single day. Some of these sources suggest that Adam's punishment wasn't just physical exile, but a severing of his connection with divine wisdom, an amnesia of sorts, trapping him in ignorance. Earth became a land of forgetfulness, a place where humanity would endlessly toil, disconnected from its origins, unable to remember what had been lost. Think about that. The concept of paradise lost goes far beyond a garden. We're talking about the loss of an entire state of being, a spiritual home that humanity would never again experience fully. Apocryphal texts portray Earth as the direct antithesis of Eden, a stark contrast. Eden was timeless, Earth is defined by decay. Eden was boundless, Earth is ruled by limitations. What we're left with here isn't a simple fall from grace, but a descent into a realm where humans are bound by the inescapable cycle of life and death, a loop from which there seems no escape. And here's the kicker. These banned books suggest that Adam's exile was meant to make him forget what true freedom, what real connection with the divine feels like. So as humanity multiplied, generation after generation, we inherited not only Adam's punishment, but his ignorance, his distance from divine truth. And the world around us? It's a constant, grinding reminder of that exile, a place where each moment reminds us of what we once had and what we lost, probably forever. Here's where things get even more twisted. What if hell isn't some fiery pit waiting for you in the afterlife, but rather the very reality we're living in? And even wilder, what if the entire concept of hell after death is just a carefully crafted illusion? An illusion designed to keep you in line, obedient, and distracted from the brutal truth. We're already in hell, right here, right now. Some ancient mystical teachings and banned texts suggest that the idea of hell as a place you go after you die is nothing more than a psychological trap. Think about it. Keep people terrified of an abstract punishment in some other realm, and they'll spend their lives trying to avoid it. But what if the real punishment is here, on Earth? What's right? This whole existence, filled with struggle, suffering, and endless cycles of birth and death, could be the actual hell we've been warned about. And the fear of a next life in flames, just part of the trick to keep us from questioning what's right in front of us. By dangling the concept of a future hell over our heads, ancient powers and institutions have managed to keep humanity in a constant state of anxiety, always trying to redeem itself, always living with guilt, and always fearing what comes next. Meanwhile, they keep the focus away from the suffering and limitations we endure in this world. The rules, the restrictions, the pain, it's all just seen as the way life is, never questioned, never examined. The whole system is set up so you're too busy fearing hell to realize you might already be living in it. This perspective shakes everything up. What if the hardships we face aren't just life struggles, but are specifically designed to keep us subdued, suffering, and dependent? Think about it. Every religion, every doctrine, has its own version of rules that claim to keep us from an afterlife of eternal damnation. But what if those rules aren't about saving our souls, but about keeping us locked in this cycle, bound to this realm? From the endless grind of daily survival to the looming threat of punishment in the afterlife, it's all a setup to keep us in line. The real horror isn't in what's supposedly waiting for us after we die. It's the deception that makes us believe our suffering now is somehow necessary, somehow justified. And by keeping us focused on that future fear, we're kept from seeing the very real prison we're living in every day. It's the perfect psychological cage, one where we police ourselves, trying to avoid a punishment that might not even exist, while the true prison walls are right here, all around us. This hidden knowledge was considered so dangerous that it had to be erased, banned, or dismissed as heresy. Why? Because if people started questioning the idea of hell, they might start questioning the nature of this world. They might start asking uncomfortable questions about why things are the way they are, and more importantly, who benefits from us believing in that afterlife punishment instead of seeing the suffering of this world for what it really is. Here's a detail they don't tell you in Sunday school. According to the Book of Enoch, a banned text that goes deep into the origins of our suffering, the angels who rebelled weren't just cast into some far-off corner of the cosmos. They fell right here, onto Earth. And with them came something far darker than we've been led to believe. The so-called Watchers, angels sent to observe humanity, broke their divine orders. They took human partners, introduced forbidden knowledge, and with them brought chaos. This isn't just myth, it's the foundation of an alternative understanding of why our world feels fundamentally twisted. The Book of Enoch claims that Earth became a kind of purgatory, not only for these rebellious beings, but also for their offspring, the Nephilim, and ultimately for humanity itself. Our world, according to these accounts, isn't just a fallen place, it's a place cursed by beings who disrupted the natural order and unleashed suffering in their wake. Think about it. If Earth became the prison for these angels, their descendants, and ultimately humanity, then what does that make us? Are we living in the shadow of their punishment, condemned to exist in a realm that absorbs the consequences of their rebellion? According to this forbidden text, these Watchers didn't just cross a line, they redefined our reality. Their forbidden actions stained this world, making it a place that resonates with their defiance and the consequences of their acts. And the fallout, the chaos, the violence, the constant struggle for survival, all remnants of this cosmic rebellion. The Watchers supposedly taught humanity arts of warfare, sorcery, and even astrology, a knowledge that was never meant to be ours. According to traditional teachings, this wasn't just an upgrade for humankind. These were tools of destruction and division, weapons that only deepened the chaos they brought with them. Humanity wasn't elevated, we were tainted, drawn into the consequences of their defiance. This idea paints Earth as a realm forever marked by transgression, a place haunted by the presence of beings who weren't supposed to be here. It's not just that humans suffer. This world itself was transformed into something almost unrecognizable, a reality where darkness and light constantly collide. And the worst part, according to some interpretations, this wasn't an accident. These rebellious beings knowingly altered our reality, bringing us into their twisted existence. And here's the kicker: these Watchers, these angels, aren't locked away in some other dimension. They're bound right here, part of the fabric of this world, intertwined with our existence. Their punishment and humanity's struggle are deeply connected, as if our very existence is shaped by their past sins. The suffering we endure is their legacy, a never-ending reminder of a rebellion that rewrote the rules of our reality. What if Earth wasn't created by a benevolent, all-knowing God, but by a flawed, arrogant being, a demiurge? That's right, in ancient Gnostic teachings, Earth and the entire physical universe were supposedly crafted not by the true divine source, but by a lesser, imperfect being with a twisted agenda. The Gnostics didn't see this demiurge as a god of love and compassion. No, they saw him as a dark architect, a creator obsessed with control, who built this world as a prison to trap human souls. The story goes that this demiurge believed himself to be the ultimate power in the universe, blind to the existence of a higher divine source. He wanted to be worshipped, revered, obeyed, so he created a reality where he could reign supreme. Earth, in this view, isn't just a random cosmic accident or a beautiful, divinely inspired realm. It's a realm of limitations, suffering, and control, a playground for a creator who has no interest in human freedom or enlightenment. According to Gnostic teachings, this demiurge actually feeds on our ignorance, thriving off our confusion and despair. The Gnostics believed this demiurge not only created the physical world, but carefully designed it to keep us from ever realizing our true nature. He used matter, flesh, bones, and the world around us as chains to bind our spirits. Think about the human experience: desire, fear, endless distractions, all of it. The Gnostics would say that's exactly how the demiurge wanted it. He wanted souls so entangled in the material realm, so fixated on the here and now, that we'd forget we were ever part of something higher, something divine. And this isn't just about being bound physically. The demiurge crafted institutions, ideologies, and even religions to reinforce his control. Imagine a system where every doctrine, every rule, every truth we're taught from birth reinforces the idea that this world is all there is, and that he is the highest authority. To the Gnostics, the demiurge's influence is everywhere, in every hierarchical system. Every law that restricts personal freedom, every teaching that makes us fear or doubt ourselves. We're not just bound by flesh, we're bound by ideas, by beliefs that limit our perception of who we truly are. According to Gnostic texts, one of the demiurge's most cunning moves was to make humanity believe that all suffering, all evil, all chaos in the world was either our fault or the inevitable nature of existence. The demiurge is the original gaslighter, convincing us that the pain we experience is either a punishment for our sins or just part of God's mysterious plan. But if this Gnostic perspective holds any truth, then the real story is much darker. We're trapped in a world specifically designed to make us suffer and keep us small, to keep us from ever challenging his authority. Now, why would the demiurge go to such lengths? Simple power. The Gnostics believed he craved worship, devotion, absolute submission, and the easiest way to achieve that was by creating a reality where humans couldn't see beyond his control. Think about it. Every impulse to question, every glimmer of doubt, every urge to seek something more, he would squash by flooding the world with fear, division, and distraction. And if you did start to sense something wasn't right, the world would simply grind you back down into submission. Work, pay, suffer, die, repeat. It's the perfect system of control, with the demiurge at the top, feasting on the souls he's trapped. What's most mind-blowing about this? If the demiurge created Earth, then the world we inhabit is not a gift, it's a prison, a realm of limitation disguised as reality. It's a place where everything we see, feel, touch, and experience has one ultimate purpose: to keep us ignorant of our origins, chained to this plane, and too worn down to ever seek the truth. This is a cosmic trap, a reality rigged from the start to keep us from ever realizing the divine spark within us. And here's the real question. If the demiurge is the one pulling the strings, where does that leave humanity? Are we simply pawns in his game, cogs in a machine designed to drain our energy, keep us in fear, and make us obedient? The Gnostics believed there was a way out, a way to escape the demiurge's grip and reconnect with the true divine source. And it would require nothing less than breaking through every lie, every fear, every limitation he's imposed on us. The path to freedom, they said, is through awakening, through gnosis, a deep, unshakable knowledge of who we truly are, beyond the walls of the prison he built around us. So if Earth really is a cosmic prison, then what's keeping us here? In many ancient teachings, there's a deeper layer to this story, a battle between forces of light and darkness, with Earth caught right in the middle. This isn't just some poetic metaphor for good and evil. This is an all-out, cosmic struggle that plays out in every corner of our reality. According to Manichaean teachings, the universe is divided into two fundamental forces, each with its own agenda. On one side, we have the forces of light, a realm of truth, freedom, and spiritual purity. On the other, there's the realm of darkness, chaos, and material entrapment. Earth, as you might guess, is right on the front line of this war. And we, as humans, are pawns, constantly being influenced, pushed, and pulled by these two forces, often without ever realizing it. Here's how it works. The forces of light are said to be trying to awaken us, to help us break free from the limitations of this world and return to our divine origin. They communicate through moments of clarity, insight, and wisdom, those rare flashes of truth that remind us there's more to life than what we see around us. But these forces don't have an easy task. They're up against the powers of darkness that thrive on keeping us bound to material existence, and they don't play fair. This dark side doesn't want us to see beyond the physical, doesn't want us questioning, doesn't want us to understand our true potential. And the battlefield? It's not just some mythical plane, it's right here, in every experience we have, every decision we make. The struggles, the doubts, the endless distractions, they're the tools of the dark forces, keeping us focused on everything but the truth. In this view, Every hardship, every temptation, every fear we face is part of the dark forces' strategy to keep our minds clouded, our spirits dulled, and our focus chained to the physical world. This cosmic battle is subtle. It's not angels and demons openly fighting in the skies, it's far more insidious. It's in the systems we live by, the pressures we face, the beliefs we're taught to follow without question. The dark side doesn't need to force us into submission. It just has to keep us preoccupied, consumed by work, endlessly chasing material goals, scared of failure, conditioned to follow without thinking. That's how they win. That's how they keep us from ever realizing there's even a war at all. Manichaean and other mystic teachings hint that we have a piece of the divine light within us, a spark that the dark side can never fully extinguish, no matter how deeply it tries to bury us in illusion. This inner light is our only defense, our only real weapon in this cosmic battle. But here's the trick: to access it, we have to resist the constant pull of darkness, the distractions, the fears, the endless noise that keeps us from looking inward. We have to wake up to the idea that maybe, just maybe, our struggles aren't random or meaningless. They're the tactics of a force that's terrified of us realizing our true power. And why would the forces of darkness fear us waking up? Simple. The moment we start to see through the illusion, the moment we recognize this world for the battlefield it is, we start to break free. We're no longer passive players in their game. We become warriors, conscious participants in a much larger cosmic struggle, aligned with forces of light seeking to liberate, not control. All right, so we've unpacked some intense, unsettling ideas: Earth as a prison, a realm cursed by rebellion, a cosmic battleground. But here's the big question: if all of that's true, is there a way out? Are we doomed to stay trapped in this realm, or is there a way to break free from this endless cycle of suffering, illusion, and control? Some ancient teachings suggest that there is indeed a way out, but it's not an easy path. It's not about waiting for salvation from above or hoping for a miracle. The way out lies in something far more personal, something only we can unlock: gnosis, or deep, transformative knowledge. It's this concept of gnosis, this profound inner awakening that ancient mystics, Gnostics, and other spiritual thinkers saw as the ultimate key to liberation. According to them, gnosis is not simply knowledge, it's a direct, undeniable understanding of one's true self and one's connection to the divine source beyond this physical reality. So what exactly is this gnosis? Imagine for a moment that you've spent your entire life in a dark room. You know every inch of it, but you've never seen the sun. Then one day, a window opens, and for the first time you experience light. Gnosis is that window. It's a complete paradigm shift, a revelation that allows you to see through the illusions of this world. This isn't something that can be taught in schools or explained in books. It's something you experience, something you become. But why is gnosis so important? Because according to these teachings, the demiurge, the watchers, the forces of darkness, whatever you want to call them, have all gone to great lengths to keep us from this kind of awakening. They've created systems, distractions, and fears to make sure we never question the nature of reality, let alone try to transcend it. They don't want us to realize that this world is a facade, that there's something much greater beyond it. In this view, the journey to liberation is a process of stripping away every belief, every fear, every attachment that ties us to this physical realm. One of the most radical ideas in Gnostic thought is that salvation isn't about obeying rules or following dogmas. It's about breaking free from those very things. It's about rejecting the limitations imposed on us and realizing that the true divine doesn't need us to be obedient servants. Instead, it wants us to recognize our own divine spark and our ability to rise above the illusions of this world. Imagine the kind of courage and clarity it would take to see through every societal structure, every ingrained belief, and understand that they were all designed to keep us bound. That's the level of awareness Gnosis offers. So how do we even begin to approach Gnosis? According to mystics and seekers throughout history, the first step is turning inward. The outside world is noisy, chaotic, and endlessly distracting. But within each of us, they say, is a core of pure consciousness, a place untouched by the turmoil of this realm. It's in silence, meditation, contemplation, that we start to strip away the noise and reconnect with that inner core. And from this place of inner stillness, the truths we've been kept from begin to reveal themselves. But let's be real, pursuing Gnosis is not for the faint of heart. It's a path that requires intense self-reflection, brutal honesty, and a willingness to confront every aspect of ourselves, our fears, our desires, our attachments. And the irony, the very systems that govern our lives are set up to discourage this kind of self-exploration. We're taught to look outside ourselves for answers, to rely on authority figures, experts, or ideologies. But Gnosis flips that completely. It teaches that the ultimate truth isn't out there, it's within. And only by finding it can we hope to break free from the prison that is Earth. There's another part to this journey of liberation that often gets overlooked: the importance of empathy, compassion, and connection. You see, in this cosmic prison, we're not alone. We're surrounded by other souls, each facing their own struggles, each trying to find meaning, purpose, and peace. The more we awaken, the more we see through the illusions of separation and competition that divide us. We begin to understand that, fundamentally, we're all connected, and in that connection lies a powerful, collective strength. When we start to view others not as separate beings, but as reflections of ourselves, we dismantle one of the demiurge's greatest tools: division. Division keeps us weak, keeps us isolated, keeps us focused on differences rather than our shared humanity. But by embracing compassion, by lifting others as we rise, we begin to dissolve the barriers that have kept us bound to this reality. This unity, this shared awareness, becomes a kind of collective gnosis, an awakening that doesn't just liberate individuals, but entire communities, entire generations. As we reach the end of this story, we realize that Earth, according to these ancient banned teachings and texts, is not a paradise but a well-crafted prison designed to keep souls bound in ignorance and suffering. This story reminds us that only through inner awakening, or gnosis, can we uncover our true nature and escape the endless cycle of suffering and control. When we achieve gnosis, we come to understand that the limitations and pain surrounding us are mere illusions, and within each person lies a divine spark leading the way to freedom. This journey is not easy. It requires us to turn inward, to overcome our fears and limitations. But it also emphasizes that only by understanding and liberating ourselves can we truly live up to our potential. Don't let fears about the afterlife hold you back from exploring and deeply understanding the truth within. If this story has sparked something within you, join us as we continue this journey in search of the truth. Subscribe to our channel, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments. This could be the beginning of something extraordinary, bringing us closer to the truth we've long been seeking. Thank you for watching, and remember, the truth is always closer than we think.